Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our webinar tonight. And it's actually only one more week, and it's going to be April, right? March is very fast. It was just like yesterday when March started. So hopefully, before this day, before this month ends, then you're able to figure out the niche and the exact career path that you want to really continue. So, thank you so much for the 62 viewers that we have tonight. The title of our webinar is all about mastering virtual assistants. So, this is perfect for those joiners who are just literally beginning or those who doesn't have any idea how the industry works. So, this is perfect because this is like a guide or a step-by-step process, and also what are the things that you need to know first before stepping into the virtual assistance industry. So, before that, I would like to again repeat our house rules. If you have specific questions, which hopefully I was able to answer earlier, please use our Q&A section. Our team can directly answer to these questions. And then if you want to interact and talk to your fellow viewers, please use our regular chat box. Okay? So can I get a thumbs up, guys, just for me to make sure that everyone is still here on our session? Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. So, our webinar agenda would include, of course, the introduction to virtual assistants. If some of you doesn't really know what a virtual assistant is, next is why choose virtual assistants as a career option. So, I know that some of here are planning to do like a career change, maybe, if you want to just explore other types of businesses, other types of jobs, then you're free to do that. Right now it's 2024, so I think it's just a good year for us to really prioritize our mental health, our physical health, and I think it's this year where we have to really choose where we are happy. But I know that sometimes it won't work that way because even though you're happy, and then if you're not really earning like an amount that your family needs, well, that's understandable. But we have to always prioritize mental health because it's where we stay. It's where we actually grow and become an effective person or an effective worker. So I would also like to just to acknowledge those viewers that we have, especially on Facebook. So kindly stay because we have lots of surprises and exciting learnings for you guys. So kindly stay. And I'm sorry I won't be able to really check the names who are joining through our Facebook. But thank you so much for spending your time here tonight. Anyways, going back, next is common misconceptions and myths debunked. So when we hear virtual assistant, there's a lot of like side comments or negative feedbacks. But that's completely normal, especially this is a business, it's a company, and it's an industry that is not perfect. Okay, so there's no company that is perfect. So we are just going to clear misconceptions out just for us to use this as a stepping stone for those aspiring virtual assistants. Because sometimes with these misconceptions, some of the VAs who wants to enter this kind of industry, they are scared to try out things because of these misconceptions. Next, in skills and qualities of a successful VA. Becoming a VA is not really easy, but I'm not saying that you cannot do it. It's just that it would take time for you to develop these skills. And we will be discussing these qualities and skills so that you do have a checklist and you can track your progress. Next is also balancing life and work. Believe it or not, guys, even though we're working at home, it's still stressful. It's still tiring. Of course, we're just human, and it's a natural reaction for our bodies to get tired. But there are also tips on how to balance life and work. So, as we all know, we cannot bring work problems at home, and we cannot also bring home problems at work. But what are we going to do if both your home and your work is on the same location? So we'll be clearing those things out later on. Next is also setting boundaries and priorities. Setting boundaries, an example of that is learning how to say no. Again, it's not always that you need to say yes, 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 I can do that. Yes, I accept this offer. Yes, I accept this task. Learning how to say no would um, actually put a limitation and also would give you time to rest and to think about things or some ideas. Because if you keep on accepting, it might jeopardize the performance, it might sacrifice the output or the result. Also, self care tips for maintaining balance, which is in related to balancing life and work, tools and resources for virtual assistants, and also available positions. And we will be discussing later on the application process, and also we can spend at least a couple of minutes later on by the end of this webinar to answer all of your questions. And I just need one thing from you guys, okay? Kindly stay up until the end of this webinar. And also don't forget to use our emoticons or our, what do you call that, expressions on Zoom, just for me to feel that you're still there. Okay, you can do thumbs up if you agree. And we can also invite you later on to like, follow, subscribe, or whatever it is through our social media platforms so that we can get you can get notified if we have updates. All right. So first, okay, let's try to use our chat box section. What comes to your mind when you hear the word virtual assistant? Again, there's no wrong answers. Just let me know what you think about the word virtual assistant. All right. Yes. So someone is paid to do task online, do admin task, work from home, online secretary, personal assistant, working from home setup, helping others do tasks for them, remote work. Guys, all of your answers are correct. Basically, you're just still working, but the difference is you're not in a physical office. You are not on a physical location that the company has. Being a virtual assistant means that you work not specifically at home, but you can work anywhere as long as you have internet, and you're basically doing administrative tasks or basically any role or any positions, any task for your clients who is not basically on your location, or they work online as well. And online or using your equipments are one thing for you to communicate with them. So yes, that is a virtual assistant. Combining all of your answers, everything is correct. So why do you think should you choose virtual assistants as a career option? I mean, some of you might be teachers right now. Some are working on banks. Some might be on BPO industry. Or sometimes most of you are also working on corporate companies. So why do you think should you choose virtual assistants as a career option? Because it's not an easy decision, guys. I've experienced that as well. I was in the BPO industry for 6 years, and it was not an easy transition because I have to always think of the specific time frame that I need to support my family. Because, of course, when transitioning, you have to resign, and that would take you weeks, months, sometimes longer than that to apply for a work from home position. Yes, so you can balance your time with your friends and family. Aside from that, you earn higher salary, convenience of working at home permanently. There's no fare. You don't need to bring lunch bags. You don't need to actually, like reserve money for taxis, jeepneys, and such. And it would really help you to maintain your physical health because you can cook home cooked meals. You can save time, higher compensation, yes, and financially independent. So let us discuss the reasons why you should work. First, you are correct, guys. Flexibility. Flexibility means that, well, sometimes, guys, it's a misconception as well that flexibility means that you actually control your time. It's not that. Always remember that your client holds your time. The company always manages your time, but somehow being a virtual assistant working at home, you can do a lot of things because you're not exhausted from the travel itself and you are not commuting. Aside from that, flexibility means you can work anywhere. If you want to go vacation, if you want to go to a different country, if you want to go somewhere around the Philippines, that you can do so as long as you have sufficient internet, stable internet, and as long as you do have your equipments needed for you to, just finish your task, then you're all good. So you can often set your own hours and work from anywhere. Again, guys, that would depend because not all companies have like your own hours and such, but at least it's still a very convenient way to work. Next is variety. Okay, virtual assistant work often with clients from various industries, performing a wide range of tasks. So that doesn't only mean that if you applied for a social media manager, then that's the only thing that you have to do. Sometimes you also need to learn how to multitask by doing graphic designs, video editing, because that is also included to the social media managing position. You also have to do data entry, and also you have to make sure to present the results of your outputs because that is needed for the business to grow. Aside from that, being a virtual assistant means that you are independent because when you compare working to a physical office, you have lots of teammates, you have lots of coworkers, there's your supervisors, and then there's OMs, and then managers, and then CEO, and whatsoever. So sometimes it can be a bit stressful for those people who are not really used to working publicly with lots of people around them. So independence means that you can work on your own. You get to grow as an individual, and you actually improve your decision making skills. You have control to your surroundings and to your environment. And it's perfect for those introverts because if you don't want to talk to your coworkers, then just work at home and all you have to mind is yourself. So that's really good because sometimes not all people likes to work with several people. You know, sometimes it's exhausting and you're unable to focus because you're busy chit chatting instead of finishing your work. So independence means that you can work alone on your own and you get to do decision making by yourself. Next is something that all of you has been telling me through the chat box, work and life balance. Yes, you better balance your work and your personal life. You're able to balance and like take care of yourself, not only physically, but mentally. It allows your mind to breathe from commuting, from the stress at work, from the metrics or certain scorecard that you need to finish at work. So this kind of flexibility in work and life balance is very, very, very useful. And it's very beneficial, not only for you, but the people that you love, like your parents, your kids, especially if you are already a parent. Also, it can help you to do other things at home after your shift. So sometimes when I was still working in a corporate company, so once I go home, I was just too exhausted to clean the house. Like all I do is just sleep, and then I'm gonna be waking up and then go to work again. So that kind of like routine every day is so exhausting and it's very tiring. It really limits the things that you want to do, especially your skills and passion. So switching to virtual assistants is a good decision so far, the best decision I've ever made. Next is also the last one, skill development. So becoming a virtual assistant means unlimited learning. It means unlimited source of knowledge and unlimited advices and support system. So this kind of skill development is very important as not only as an individual but also as a virtual assistant because it's very important for you to also learn other specific tasks as well. So being a virtual assistant, you have to commit that you promise not to stay on that specific comfort zone. As a virtual assistant, you have to explore, you have to learn, and you have to manage everything all at once. Again, being a virtual assistant, it's not very stressful because it's just free. You manage everything, and all you have to do is to improve your time management skills and also to make sure that your clients are satisfied. Okay, are we good with that? Can I get a thumbs up, guys? Okay, good. So I'm really, really happy with the engagements that I'm receiving. Okay, let's next is problem solving and critical thinking. So this is very important because some of VAs are having the difficulty to solve problems without their clients. Well, I do feel that as well. Like there are also times where you just don't know what to do, and you just want to wait for your client to come back to be online because you don't know what to do, and there's really no option for you to decide on things because you're not that confident with the solution that you want to do. So it's very important because again, independence, you work alone and there's no one to reach out to. Not every time, but of course, sometimes you have to always make decisions on your own. First is to identify the problem. You cannot come up of any real solution. You cannot come up of any ideas or solution to your problems if you don't identify the problem itself. Okay? So the first step in problem solving is identifying the issue or challenge at hand. So after you identify the problem, next is you analyze the information. This means that you gather data, conduct research, and also collect and examine evidence for you to gain a deeper understanding to what is the cause of that specific problem. Let's say the problem is, let's say Facebook is not working. That's first identifying the problem. Next is analyzing information. So that includes gathering data. You might want to ask your workmates. You might want to ask your parents, like, "Hey, hey there, is your Facebook working? Is it all good? Can you try this for me?" Also, examine and collect evidence. Like you can go ahead and visit other social media platforms and check if there are any statuses of people that their Facebook is not working, something like that. Next is generating solutions. So once you gather the data, then that is where your solutions would depend. So if in case it doesn't work on you, maybe the problem is with your phone. If it's also not working with your parents or with your coworkers, then maybe the problem is the internet. Or the last option would be the Facebook really does have a problem, the Facebook itself. Next is evaluating options. So what are your options? You might want to restart your phone. You might want to log out and log back in. You want to clear cache. You want to restart your internet modem. So those are examples of evaluating options, whatever works best for the situation. Next is reflecting and learning. Always make sure that you learn from what happened. So maybe the issue is that your phone is just really lagging, or maybe the internet is not paid, so it was disconnected. That's why you cannot access Facebook. Or sometimes there's just really problems with the app or the software itself. So guys, Facebook is just an example, okay? But again, this is case to case basis that depends on any situation that you're into. So reflecting and learning means that you have to take down notes so at least you know what to do the next time it happens again. And lastly is adapting to change. Adapting to change means that your life doesn't end if something happens. For example, that the Facebook is working, you're just gonna sit there and wait for your client and then wait for your boss and just tell them, "Hello, boss, Facebook is not working." So the first question that your boss will ask you, what did you do? What are the solutions that you made? Did you check this? Did you check that? Is this something that you did? So adapting to change means that you have to find alternative options or any options at all to make something work. So for example, the only reason that you want to access Facebook is for you to share the graphic design, or let's say share a poster. So if in case Facebook is not working, just adapt to that kind of change. Use other social media platforms. Maybe Instagram is a better platform. Maybe Twitter is also something that you can play with hashtags so that it's going to be trending. Also, you can also use LinkedIn, YouTube, and whatsoever. Okay, so make sure, guys, that as a virtual assistant, you know how to adapt to changes and you have specific resolutions to these kinds of scenarios. Okay, hopefully, guys, you are learning. We're at 63 participants and it's 9:33 p.m. Kindly give me a thumbs up, guys, if you are learning. Okay, so thank you so much, guys. Let's try to proceed to the next subtopic. So common misconceptions and myths debunked. So for you guys, I know that you've heard a lot of news, a lot of comments, a lot of side comments, and a lot of opinions from a lot of people. So what are kinds of misconceptions that you've heard about becoming a virtual assistant. Not a stable job. Hard to get client. Yes, I really hear that most of the time. Saturated industry. Can earn up to 100K. That depends. Yeah. What else? BPO experience at an advantage. Boring. A lot of competence. No 13th month. Sudden change. No HMO. Yeah. So not a stable job. That depends because if you're under an agency, they will take care of you, of course, if you lose a client. But if you're just a freelancer, then that would be a possibility. Hard to get a client. Again, guys, the client wouldn't hire someone who's not competent, or they will not hire someone who they don't have confidence with. So sometimes maybe because it's difficult for them to get a client, it's because they lack some skills, they lack confidence, and maybe the problem is with their client interviews. So maybe they didn't do great in interviews, that's why they weren't hired for multiple times. Can earn up to 100K a month but still keep a working life balance. I know people who does this, but again, it's very difficult because you have to upskill always for you to get high payment as well. All right. Well, thank you so much for letting me know about these kinds of misconceptions. Again, those are correct misconceptions that we are hearing online, but not all of them is true because it's always a case to case basis and it depends on the situation. So first misconception is virtual assistant job is just like traditional secretaries or administrative assistants. So when we see in movies, like bosses have secretaries, like they manage schedules and such and stuff. But guys, as a virtual assistant working online, it's very, very different from a physical secretary because you handle wide ranges of tasks on your computer. You are not only handling the schedule of your client, like the meetings, but you also have to do research, project management, customer service. It's your responsibility to take in phone calls, also graphic designing sometimes if they need posters. It's a variety of tasks, and that would always depend on your clients, what they need. Also, human virtual assistants lack reliability and accountability. So, professional virtual assistant services often prioritize reliability and accountability to maintain positive client relationships. So, again, when you say reliability and accountability, it means that we are not reliable enough to finish tasks on time, or sometimes if we commit mistakes, we are not accountable for it. But that is not true. Sorry, I think I missed it. That is not true. So as a virtual assistant, we are reliable, we are responsible. If you set this certain due date, then we finish it even before the due date. And accountability, when we do some mistakes, we revise it immediately and we do everything to keep our clients and the company or the business satisfied. And lastly, human virtual assistants are only suitable for basic tasks. That is not true because first and foremost, there are also complex and difficult tasks that only one virtual assistant can even do, multitasking all of these tasks. So virtual assistants can handle wide range of tasks, and some virtual assistants have specialist skills and the industry allows it, which really helps them to earn more money. And sometimes being an effective virtual assistant means that you can handle complex tasks and you can still do it effectively. All right. So hopefully the misconceptions have been answered, as well as those misconceptions that you've written on our chat box. All right. So what are the skills and qualities of a successful VA? So first is excellent communication skills. And this is a perfect advantage for those who have experiences in the BPO industry. But again, even though you're applying for a non-voice position, it's important for you to at least have basic skills when it comes to English communication, because it's very important, especially if you're conducting interviews and how you answer to questions. The next is also organizational skills. Do not be someone who's untidy when it comes to their desk or when it comes to their um, files and folders. Organizational skills, it is very important because it is where we see that you are organized as a person. You know how to manage everything. You know how to sort things, emails, calls, data, and such things. So Organizational will always keep you motivated and focused, and also you can see or locate things immediately. Next is also time management. So when you say time management, you know how to manage your time when it comes to multiple tasks. It doesn't mean that you only have one task that you don't do it for 3 consecutive days. That's not it. Time management means that if you have the time to finish it as soon as possible, then you do it because it's going to be easier for you in the future. And who knows if you have upcoming projects as well on the coming days. Next is attention to detail. As a virtual assistant, you have to be keen, you have to be observant with simple mistakes or simple errors. Attention to detail means that you follow the exact details and the exact vision of your clients. So that means that you are, maybe we can say perfectionist, but not to the point that you want to make it perfect because that's not possible. But attention to detail means that you have to reread everything, recheck everything, proofread everything just to make sure that there's no errors, and you can submit it to your client effectively. Next is tech savviness. Of course, as a virtual assistant, guys, again, from the word itself, it's virtual. You're going to be working virtually. So it's very important for you to know how to use your equipment, your laptop, your PC, how to locate files, how to access the internet, and how to upload and also download files. Next is adaptability, which we talked about earlier. You have to know how to adapt to changes and certain updates. So not every time that we can catch up updates. That's why we need to always make sure to do our research. Next is professionalism. So maintain professionalism in your workplace. Yes, so professionalism. Do not treat your bosses, your coworkers as like just friends. So professionalism means you communicate to them in a nice tone and manner. You use the right words, and you do not jeopardize someone's project or someone's task just for your own gain. Professionalism means that you work hand in hand together for the company but not for yourself. Next is client relationship and management, which is not very easy for most of us, especially that there might be some language barriers, especially that our clients are from a different country or they have different cultures, perspective, and they have different practices. So client relationship management is a skill because you might want to learn how to adjust to your client. You want to make sure that you know how to speak or how to talk with them and how you can build that kind of relationship that would be very helpful for you, for your client, and for the business. All right, next is self motivation and initiative. Okay, always remember, guys, that successful VAs take initiative and proactively seek opportunities. So do not depend on anyone else, do not depend on your client for the learnings that you want to know because that would always depend on yourself. So you should be self motivated. You should know how to uplift yourself by having self motivation and, you like initiative to finish, to start things up would really help you to be more productive, and it would really improve your skills and knowledge over time. And lastly, continuous learning. So when you say continuous learning, the virtual assistance industry is constantly evolving. It is a fast-paced industry. And we have lots of tools, we have new technologies, we have different practices that are emerging. Sometimes, updates come real time. So as a VA, you have to be willing to learn. You have to have that kind of passion to learn and like the passion to teach yourself of these kinds of things. Okay. So what is your favorite skill out of these things, guys? Just want to ask for your opinion. Organizational skills. Yes, I'm really having the difficulty to really practice my organizational skills, especially that I have some sort of like an ADHD that is really difficult because I tend to really stay out of focus. So I'm still learning how to focus, how to maintain that kind of organizational skills. Not only for me but also to help my clients as well. Yes, time management, especially for working moms. But to be honest, Maria Merlin, I've learned and I've really improved my time management when I started working at home. Because when you work in a corporate office, you don't have any kids with you. You're just basically sitting there 9 hours per day, just finishing your task, and then you go home. But you can really test your patience, your time management skills if you're working at home at the same time your kids are around, because it would really bring out the best in you. It would really give out ideas and opinions on how you manage your household and at the same time earning for the family. So thank you. I really love your answer for that. So let us proceed to balancing life and work. Okay. So first is to set boundaries. Again, that involves saying no. Also, prioritizing tasks. Prioritizing tasks means that you identify first what are the most important to the least one so you can manage your time. Next is time management. We've already talked about that. So managing your time would also help you how you manage your life and at the same time your work. Also, delegate and outsource. Guys, as a virtual assistant, do not, okay? Stop doing everything on your own. It won't hurt you to ask some help. It won't hurt you to delegate or to distribute the tasks, okay? For example, you have 10 tasks. Well, let's say we all know that you can do it all on your own. Let's say the specific time frame for you to finish it would take 5 days, okay? And that's good for you if you can finish it on your own. But including time management skills and delegate and outsourcing means that you want to spread and distribute it to 5 members. And instead of finishing it for 5 days, you might be able to finish it for just 1 day. And all you have to do is just to recheck, and you can just proofread everything and you saved some time. At least for the next 4 days, you're just gonna be chilling out because you already finished the task. So guys, don't be afraid to ask some help, because that brings out the vulnerability on you. Sometimes being vulnerable is also good because that means that you're not boastful, and that means that you need help and that you don't know everything. Next is also set realistic goals. Guys, setting realistic goals means that you might want to start for something that's very easy first. For example, okay, when I become a virtual assistant, I want to buy a house, okay? Well, you want to buy a house, but it's not, your salary isn't enough yet to purchase or to invest for a house. Maybe you might want to start first with, when I become a virtual assistant, I will upskill so that I can earn more money and then I can buy my dream house. Okay. So your first step would be gaining skills, or you can invest in some business, or you can also make sure to invest on something so that your money would grow bigger, the value would grow bigger, and that you can pursue your goal. So set realistic goals, guys. Something that would be very easy for you to pursue. Next is also learning how to say no. We already talked about that. So learning how to say no means that you put limitation on the things that exhaust you. Establish routine. So set a routine, especially during work hours. Set a specific break schedule so that you can fix your body clock as well. And lastly, quality time with loved ones. I really made it the last one because that's very, very, very important out of the balancing life and work. So make sure to spend time, engage in beautiful conversations, engage and do some activities with your family, go out. You can even have coffee with yourself. That won't really hurt you to eat alone, because that would really help you to become independent and to manage your expectations. Okay? So we are almost done. Let us discuss first the interview tips. So what are the do's? So the do's is do some research, not only with the company itself, but also with the position that you're applying to. Next is also prepare a lot of references, or prepare a list of references. Again, you can use your manager, your previous supervisors, the HR for the interviewer to know how you worked before. Next is practice with a friend, or practice with someone who's professional who can give you constructive criticisms on the spot. And lastly, prepare smart questions for the interview. Do not ask questions that is already obvious or that is already been answered. Ask questions like, what are the steps for me to get promoted? Or is this something that I can do like alone, or can I do this work with a fellow colleague? Something like that. What are the don'ts? So don't go in unprepared. Okay, make sure not to be too casual. Do not treat the interviewer as like your best friend. Again, guys, maintain professionalism. Don't read off your screen. This is very common before. Like when it comes to interview, you memorize the answers for possible questions. But I figured out that that's not good because you sound like a robot. And sometimes it's very difficult because your answers are memorized. And it will not be very helpful for you in terms of expressing yourself or who you really are. And lastly, do not lose focus. That's why we encourage and recommend for those applicants who are already scheduled for interviews to conduct the interview on a location that has minimal distractions, that doesn't have lots of noises, because you don't want to lose focus in the middle of your interview. So now we will be discussing the available positions here at Virtudesk. So we have three positions available: GVA, ISA, and EVA. So first is the GVA position. So for the GVA position, it's $3 per hour. Again, it's still full time because we do not really offer part time. So this is a non-voice position. All the qualifications that we have are all the same: 6 months experience in BPO or 6 months experience in admin related tasks. Roles and responsibilities are already posted on the screen. All right, let us now proceed to Inside Sales Associate. This is $4 per hour. And compared to the GVA, this is a voice position. Roles and responsibilities would be outbound cold calling, appointment setting, lead generation, CRM, concierge, or basically customer service. So for GVA, you have 5 days training with $70 allowance. And for ISA, that is 5 days training with $80 allowance. All right, let us proceed to our EVA, which is our executive virtual assistant. So for EVA, this is $5 per hour, still the same, 8 hours per day, 40 hours a week, full time. And this is a combination, or this is a blended position, combination of the voice and non-voice tasks. So basically, the tasks and responsibilities that we have for GVA and ISA is all included here in the EVA. But guys, just a misconception again, that sometimes they thought that all the list of roles and responsibilities is all the things that you need to do. No, guys, that would depend on your clients. Sometimes they would just ask you to do 2 tasks from the list provided, but again, that depends on the business. And that is where, guys, we end our webinar for tonight. Thank you so much for spending your time. I really enjoyed it. It was a worthwhile experience to really help you when it comes to the virtual assistance industry. And as a form of a thank you, guys, for tonight's webinar, please follow our TikTok page because that is the current platform that I'm handling. And also, we need some support to our YouTube channel because we have lots of upcoming videos for you guys, and those are really dedicated for you because you are our target market. And basically, this is very beneficial for you because you have everything on our YouTube channel. Our team will be sending the links on our chat box in a second. Okay, please comment done if you are already subscribed and followed our TikTok and the YouTube channel. Daghan salamat. Thank you so much, John. Thank you. I'm seeing follows now. Thank you so much, guys. And also, guys, our LinkedIn has the virtual assistant manual. So kindly visit our LinkedIn right now because all the things that you need to know about virtual assistants is already on our LinkedIn free virtual assistant manual. Kindly check out our manual, guys. It's for free, guys. We have 53 participants still remaining. So I'm hoping we could get at least 53 follows, 53 subscriptions as well. Maria Merlin, thank you. Ronnie, Joynalyn, Angela, Lara, Anthony, John, Maria Francesca, Rina, Enrica, Joynalyn, Lizelle, Sheila, Don, Virgil, thank you. Princess, Geraldine. Where can I send my application? What's the email ad? Kindly visit myvirtudesk.ph and then just click apply now. If you're asking about the email address for follow-up in terms of interview, jobs at myvirtudesk.com. Thank you for our follows and subscriptions. Don't worry because once you follow us, you will get notified to our upcoming webinars in the future. So our next webinar will be scheduled by April 5th. And then by next Friday, that would be the 29th. So we'll be having a TikTok live. And if you guys weren't able to watch this webinar from the very beginning, we have a webinar replay next Friday after our TikTok live. And that would be on our YouTube channel. Okay, I'm already seeing follows. Don Jerwin. Thank you so much, guys. Don sending my CV. Thank you so much. You're very much welcome. Thank you for the free webinar, Chris Jan Rivas 3. Riza, thank you for the free webinar. You're welcome. So that is where we end. Thank you so much, guys, for spending your time. Hopefully, I can get a lot of hearts through our TikTok content. So thank you. Happy weekend and advance happy Holy Week for next week. Thank you, guys. You deserve this weekend. Kindly rest and enjoy your time with your family. So we'll be sending out notifications and also posts once we have the registration link for our next webinar. So thank you and have a great day. Bye for now. Thank you so much, guys.